Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, only professional grade with 5-year warranty. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Dickies, quality workwear since 1922. Yamaha, rev your heart.
We're here in the southwestern portion of the province of New Brunswick in St. Stephen, New Brunswick for an international lumberjack competition. We're on the shores of the Bay of Fundy. It's part of Charlotte County. The county is home to 3 major rivers, including the St. Croix River, and is well known for hundreds of lakes known to sportsmen for their populations of smallmouth bass and Atlantic salmon. The county has historically served as a vacation destination for many wealthy vacationers from New England and the rest of the Maritimes. We're located here for the Lumberjack competition in the Ganong Nature Park. We're going to get started with the standing block chop. In total, we're going to be showing you the top 6 heats. This first heat, Nick Graham taking on Trevor Schofield, and we're going to throw it down to our Lumberjack sport analyst, Rod Cumberland.
Trevor Schofield making quick work, getting into this wood, swinging a big hard axe. You know he's a strong lad. Nick Graham also no slouch at all in the standing block chop. He's got all kinds of power to put behind his as he gets in and puts his drivers in, and it's Nick Graham around to side number 2 already, the man from Prince Edward Island. Trevor Schofield now picking up the pace. He knows he's got to cover some ground. Nick swinging nice and smooth, making quick work of it down there as he gets ready to drive things off. And it's going to be Nick Graham with a beautiful block he puts on the ground first in this heat of the standing block.
Nick, great front in that log, but when you made the turn, you shook your head before you started chopping. What was up with that?
My last hit was a little bit off and wasn't good, but it held together, so it's okay.
Yeah, it was an extremely soft block. Looks like you just mulched it in the back. Talk to me about the backside.
Once I got around the back, I knew the wood was good, so I just kept going with it and tried to follow my lines as best I can and finish it off.
And a big shout out to Dave Johns, our man on the field, doing all those fantastic interviews. Nick Graham, a good start to the standing block chop, the first of 6 heats, with a time of 27.5. We head into heat number 2. Kyle Whitmore taking on Jeremy Salvis.
4th heat, men's standing block chop. Jeremy Salvis and Kyle Whitmore, both guys swinging a good axe. Big, long swings, doing a great job here. Both guys not taking too fast of a pace, but doing a great job here swinging heavy axes. As Kyle gets into putting his drivers up for his front side, but it's Jeremy Salvis, the first one around to side number 2. Has to move a bag of sand out of his way so he can get down to business here on the chop. Kyle Whitmore swinging a nice axe as he gets into the little bit smaller wood here on his second side. Jeremy Salvis swinging a little bit, not a lot of slope on his upswings as he starts getting into the small wood, but I think it's going to be Kyle Whitmore who's now getting down, ready to drive things off. Who did the most work in the front? We're going to find out here. Look at that, a photo finish in the men's standing block.
Kyle, what a cut, man. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, it was a pretty good cut. I think it opened up a little bit too big on both sides. Had a little knot in the middle, so I was kind of wondering if I should switch axes, but I ended up not doing it and didn't ding the axe, so pretty happy about that, but came off pretty good.
Opened it up a little bit big on 2 sides, but you had plenty of slope. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I was watching a guy's chop before, and I thought this wood might like the slope, so decided to give it a lot more slope in my down hits, and I think it worked out pretty well.
Beautiful. Well, good luck the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Well, obviously a lot of experience still to come for Kyle Whitmore. He set a time that's not quite to beat at a 44.48 in that second heat of the standing block chop. This next heat, the time should drop considerably. Scott Reed taking on Matt Jones.
And they're off. Scotty Reed, first one to sink an axe into this poplar, all the way from Atholville, New Brunswick. And Scotty's putting some big hits in as he gets into the small wood and putting drivers in. Scotty Reed, first one around to side number 2. And that sparked Brad Jones. He's jumped around again to side number 2 as well. Not sure if he's done enough work in the front, but Scotty Reed punching another big hole in the back of this block. He's going to be ready to drive things off here before long. Brad Jones trying to make up for lost time here. Scotty Reed has to take a few more, but Scotty Reed's got it on the ground, and he takes this heat of the men's standing block chop.
Talk to me about that cut, dude.
It's pretty messy, but the axe was loving the wood. Love to have that chop back. I think I could have saved quite a few hits.
So now you say the axe really loved the wood. What did you feel with that?
It was just traveling in so nice and very free. Didn't take much to pull it back out. Just loved the wood.
Well, Scott Reed loved the wood, but he didn't lower the time to beat. He had a 29.48. Still the time to beat is Nick Graham from that first heat, but a 27.5. This next heat, heat number 3, Doug Armsworthy taking on Berlin Nickerson.
And they're off. See, Berlin Nickerson with that black handle. That's a fabricated handle that he's making in Nova Scotia, and it's swinging pretty well for him as he gets in and puts his drivers in. Doug Armsworthy taking a little bit more time to make sure he's got his front fully chalked. He puts good drivers in, and Doug's around now, side number 2. Berlin's wailing away here as he gets ready to drive things off. And it's going to be Berlin Nickerson lowering the time to beat right now in the standing block chop as Doug Armsworthy gets into the small wood on his log.
As choppers always say, never satisfied with the cut, but that was a good one, man. Talk to me about it.
It was good enough for today, you know. I wanted to chop it a lot better than that. Anyway, it come apart, and it was nice wood, so all the mistakes I were making didn't hurt me too much in the end. So,
what big mistake just stood out to you in that cut?
I just didn't open up properly on my back. 2 scoops, you know, and a scoop hit just means it wasn't a true hit, right? It didn't go in the way I wanted it to. Of course, it didn't go down into the stanchion or nothing, but it was just 2 hits that I didn't want to do that way, so.
Well, once again, a good Lumberjack interview always comes with a couple of complaints about the performance they just had, but Berlin Nickerson lowers the time to beat down to 23.66, heading into the next heat. A couple of bends, nicely taking on Cumberland.
And they're off. Ben Cumberland, first guy to hit the block, but doesn't really mean a whole lot. Both guys swinging really hard into that block. Ben puts 3 drivers around. Ben nicely putting his drivers up. Both guys around to side number 2. The wood's chopping good. It's moving well for them. The guys are getting ready to drive things off before long, going back for another couple of swings. Who's it going to be in this heat to take it off? Ben Cumberland gets it on the ground as Ben nicely puts 3 more drivers in, trying to take this thing down, and he's got it now.
All right, standing here with Ben Cumberland. Ben, not training after a month, wedding next week, man. You got to focus it all and cut. What happened in that one?
Everything went wrong on that one. My lines were everywhere. I was sticking the axe, and I was off balance. It just, you know, that is a prime example of not training for a couple weeks.
Yeah, when you reached across there for your drivers, you came back and you pulled out, it looked like a hockey puck-sized chip out of the far. You finally got it dialed in there at the end, but it seemed like too little too late.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Just probably swinging too slow anyway. Like, just not a good cut, but, you know, happy to get one on the ground.
Well, once again, Ben Cumberland not happy with his cadence. He comes in with a 27.15. In an earlier heat, Koger bested Nathan Cumberland with a 15.75. Well, just a stone's throw away from St. Stephen, New Brunswick is St. Andrews by the Sea on the shores of the Bay of Fundy. Within St. Andrews, we have a beautiful resort called the Algonquin Resort and their world-famous and world-class golf course. Just before the show got started, we had a chance to talk to Charlie Martin.
The Algonquin Resort's not only a major employer here in Charlotte County, but we're really involved in supporting community events as well. Things like Lumberjack Sports, the Fall Fair, various communities and charitable funds. We really want to make sure that we're supporting everything within the area. Our actionables it can be donating anything from space on the golf course, so a tea time, to guest rooms, to function space, things like that. We would love to invite you to St. Andrews, New Brunswick and the Algonquin Resort, whether you're looking for a romantic getaway, a family getaway, or even a corporate team building event. We have all of the amenities that you'll ever need, fantastic dining outlets, as well as great daily activities.
And many thanks to Charlie Martin and the Algonquin Resort, along with all the other sponsors that make this annual International Lumberjack Competition here in St. Stephen, New Brunswick an annual event. We're going to pick this event up already in progress.
Follow their pattern well. When they get in there, they have to actually reach the bottom wood so that they make sure it's chopped very well. Looks like both ladies getting ready to drive things off. That's what we say when they start breaking through that opening in the back side of the wood. Megan's block is wobbling. Who's it going to be? Both girls trying to break it off here. Who's it going to be? Good race. Oh, and it's Kaylin Cumberland coming from behind.
Katie, come from behind victory in that heat. Talk to me about that cut. That was awesome.
Well, I mean, from what my brothers and my dad teach me, you just keep going and just chop your block. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, it's got to be awesome coming from a long line of history in wood chopping. You know, they've got to be your biggest fans in this sport.
I guess so. We're a pretty blessed family.
Well, Katie's lucky enough to be coached by a couple of older brothers, Ben and Nathan, along with her father, Rod. And she sets the time to beat at 1:21.20 as we head into the second heat of the women's underhand chop. Tess Billings taking on Jessie Swinemer.
Tess Billings doing lots of work here in her underhand chopping, and she was the first one to the wood, wasting no time at all. You can see she's spreading her axe really well across that block, chopping the top and the bottom wood, cleaning things out. Her axe is chopping really well in this saw popple. She gets into putting her final drivers in, top and bottom, and she's around to side number 2. Jess Swinimer also getting into the small wood, but it's Tess Billings taking things to this 10-inch round poplar wood, spacing her axe really well, keeping a good pace. Tess Billings putting every ounce of energy she has into each one of these swings. Jess Swinimer also changing to side number 2, but as Tess Billings putting her drivers in, going back to a few chips, and then she's going to try to finish this block off, swinging with all she has. She'll break the top first and then reach for the bottom, see if she can break the bottom wood. As Jess starts getting into the smaller wood on her block. It's starting to wobble now for Tess Billings. She's putting more and more effort into it, and there it's almost there. And it's Tess Billings taking the first heat.
All right, Tess, great underhand cut there. Kind of sloppy in the front, but you really fixed it in the back. Talk to me about the cut.
Honestly, I feel like it was sloppy all around. I wasn't happy with that at all. I had a little bit of a tough time driving it off. I think my lines weren't lining up quite right, so we'll see. I wasn't happy with it, though.
Well, it's important to hit your lines in any kind of chopping event, and Tess Billings was not quite happy with that, although she did lower the time to beat down to just over 1 minute. The last heat of the underhand chop is coming up right now. Cameron Finley taking on Elisa Schroeder.
Mary Reeder, first one to the log here on the underhand chop. Waiting for a chip to come out. All 4 girls waiting for a chip to come out. So not a great sign, but Mary Reeder's axe seems to be chopping pretty well here in her underhand chop. She's reaching that bottom wood. Cameron Finley doing a good job on her block. Alicia Schroeder's axe looks to be cutting it the best as she's getting in there far. Getting into the small wood, so once she gets into almost a V, she'll put some drivers in, but it's Cameron Finley making the turn first. Right behind her, Mary Reeder. Alicia right with her. Great race here in the ladies' underhand chop. Very quick right now here between Cameron Finley, Alicia Schroeder, and Mary. Cameron Finley swinging hard, taking her time, making sure her swings are accurate. Alicia Schroeder a little bit quicker pace, doing a good job here. Both ladies still getting into the small wood. They'll clean out the bottom a little bit and then make their last few swings, and it's Alicia Schroeder taking first place in this heat.
Excellent cut here in the underhand. That axe seemed to really love that block. Talk to me about that cut.
No, I was quite happy. I just changed what axe I was going to use a little last minute, so quite happy with how it was cutting.
What was the other axe giving you that you just kind of said, no, I don't think I want this one, I'm going to go with this one?
The other one seemed to be sticking in the wood, and past competitions I've done this year, it was sticking real bad, so I thought, what do I have to lose by changing it up?
Well, a good job by the competitors there. In an earlier heat, Caitlin Reed won the underhand chop by 12 seconds, time of 30.63. Back here in the Ganong Nature Park in St. Stephen, New Brunswick for their annual International Lumberjack competition. We have a solid field of competitors from across northeastern United States, as well as all over the Maritimes here in Canada. A lot of wonderful sponsors come out and support this event every year to make it successful. We're heading into the obstacle pole bucket. We're going to be showing you the top 3 heats. This first heat, Kyle Whitmore taking on Scott Reed. We're going to throw it down to Rod on the field.
And they're off. Look at that, boys. Making no. Look at that. Scotty, the first one on the pole. Look at that. Scotty Reed. Holy mackerel. Kyle Whitmer is coming off, but look at this. Scotty Reed. Look at this. Getting ready for the springboard chop. Holy mackerel.
Here with Scotty Reed. Scotty, I'm built for comfort, not speed. You are the complete opposite, my friend. Talk to me about that cut.
Apparently I had twinkle toes today. They were moving pretty fast.
Absolutely. I just look up, boop, 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 up the pole, and then you made that cut really quick. Talk to me about the meet the cut up there, because that was definitely some skill.
Just went for it. There's going to be a lot of fast guys here, so just having fun.
Well, I've seen Scott Reed do that many, many times over the years, and he's done it successfully lots of times as well. He has set the time to beat at 18.57 in the first heat of the OP. This next heat, Donald Lambert taking on Doug Armsworthy.
And they're off. Next heat, obstacle pole. Guys get their bearings on straight on the block Donald just has to start again from the bottom. No problem at all. Doug Armsworthy, the first guy up, though. Saws are going. Don Lambert, first one into the wood. Don Lambert making quick work of this over there. And he's coming down the log, and it's Donald Lambert doing a great job here as he gets back to touch a log. And he finally gets it. Great run by Donald.
All right, leave it to the veterans to leave it all out on the OP. Donald stretching it out there to get a time. Talk to me about that finish.
Well, the main goal was to try to not fall, which I did on the way up. On the way down, I tried to not lose the balance, and but I have to put the full foot over the line, and then I just struggled a little bit, and well, you have to touch a bunk log to finish to stop the time, so it is what I did.
Little Superman action there, but you probably had the fastest cut when you were up on top of the log. What was the key to that?
Well, try to do not kill the saw and try to make it smooth and just turn up the saw as soon as the cut is done.
Well, that was beautiful. Donald, good luck for the rest of the day.
Merci beaucoup.
Well, it was nice of Donald Lambert to try not to kill the saw and take care of it for the next heat, which is the last heat. It's going to be Ben Cumberland taking on Berlin Nickerson. Scotty Reed still with the time to beat at 18.57 heading to the last heat.
Both guys off to the bottom of the log pretty quickly, taking their time to make sure they're lined up straight to get up the pole. But it's Berlin Nickerson, first guy up to the end of it, and Berlin right into that wood with that saw. He's got it off, and Berlin's coming down the log. What a great run here by Berlin Nickerson. Both guys with a time, and that's what you want in the obstacle pole today.
All right, joining us now, Berlin Nickerson, last weekend's axe throwing Canadian champion here. Talk to me about that OP run. That was smoking.
Yeah, no, that was fun. I was watching the earlier heats, and everybody was having a lot of trouble, and I was wondering to myself, is there grease on the pole or something? But once I got on her, it was the same old OP I've always run, so just put in my time and hoped for the best.
Well, you pulled off the win in that, but had a little bit of unconventional technique. Usually guys will start with an upcut first and then go back with the down to meet the cut. You went with the reverse. Is there a method to the madness there?
Yeah, exactly. Most of the maritime guys do it that way, and typically the top of the bar cut's better than the bottom. You're not sucking all the chips into the motor, so it just runs freer, and it makes for a better transition down the pole. So.
Well, a solid field of competitors. Look at Scotty Reed, nimble of foot, twinkle toes they call him, with 18.57 coming in second. But there's Berlin Nickerson winning it with a 16.81.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Dickies. Quality workwear since 1922.
It's a bullseye. Mary Reeder all the way from Uniondale, Pennsylvania here, showing us that she knows how to throw an axe.
Heading into one of the team events here at the International Lumberjack Competition. It's called the Double Buck. Two pair of competitors working together to cut through 17 inches round of trembling aspen.
Louis and Robert, no slouches at all to the double buck. They've done it a lot. They actually are pulling a lot slower. Look at the Schofields, oh, their pace is really fast. They got to get that whole cookie off, and they're doing it. Right on. They've got a complete cut there on bench number 2. First one's down.
All right, I'm here with the Schofields. Just laid down a great cut. Had to get a little ginger there at the end. What happened?
We started a little bit crooked, but it's our first time cutting together in competition, actually. Since we're a little crooked, we had to kind of twist to keep it in. We broke the cookie, but kept going, and I was happy with it. First time cutting with my son, Owen.
Definitely. Now, tell me a little bit about this saw. This is a beauty.
It's a 5'6" Jim Taylor. Quite old. I think I got it in about 2007, but it's still cutting pretty good. I've had it refiled from Donald Lambert since then, but it's cutting good.
Good job by the father-son team there of Owen and Trevor Schofield with a 12.42 in the first heat of the double buck. This next heat, Jones and Whitmore taking on Doug Armsworthy and Berlin Nickerson.
And they're off. Men's double buck making quick work of it. Both guys with feverish paces as Berlin and Doug get into the big wood, and they're almost down at the bottom of it. Who's it going to be? Doug and Berlin, first guys on the ground.
Gentlemen, pulling out the 4-cutter single saw for the crosscut here. What was up with that? It cut really well.
It's trying to beat the budget game with Lumberjack equipment. It's all I got for crosscut, so that's what we're going to use.
I like it. Berlin, great cut between you guys. You cut much before.
Yeah, this is our first pull, and it was on the 4-cutter, and that was my first pull on a 4-cutter, racing 4-cutter in a log that big. So it was interesting. They feel way different than any saw I've ever run before, but Doug said, I got the handles on, so we got to use it. So we went with it.
Well, the time to beat dropped by 3 seconds there, down to 9.18 for Berlin and Doug. Well, here we go with Matt Koger and Paul Koger taking on Paul Woodland and Donald Lambert.
Both teams pulling with a lot of power. The Koger's a lot faster pulling, though. Lots of weight over there on bench number 1, but it's going to be the Koger's the first one down.
I know you were looking at the teeth of the saw, Matt, at the end of the cut there. Do you think you hit something in that?
No, just cleaning the sawdust away. You know, that's what you do after a good cut. You just clean it up. No, it's a good cut. I think we did okay. So.
Once again, the time to beat drops by 3 seconds down to 6.33 for Matt Koger and his father, Paul Koger. This last heat, Ben Cumberland and Nathan Cumberland taking on Scott Reed and Mario Bork.
And this won't take long. Both teams sawing really fast. Scotty and Mario putting a lot of weight on it. Cumberland choosing speed, and holy mackerel.
Gentlemen, just set the Maritime record in the crosscut. Talk to me about that cut. That was fast.
You go.
Well, just before the go, we kind of had a little bit of confusion with a couple things, so kind of fired us up and just really blessed with a great cut. That's by far the best cut I think we've ever made.
Yeah, it was fast, and it was a 4-cutter too. Most of these guys out here are using 2 cutters. Why'd you decide to go with the 4?
If it's the only saw you have, it's the saw you run.
I like that logic. Gentlemen, congratulations. New Maritime record. Good luck with the rest of the show.
Thank you.
Well, a Maritime record set at 4.90 and 17 inches round. A trembling aspen are set by Nathan and Ben Cumberland. They take first place in the double bunt. And our crown pivotal point goes to young Katie Cumberland. At the tender age of 17, she's the youngest competitor here in the field, competing with all the older women in the underhand chop. And our lumberjack of the day goes to Scott Reed in the obstacle pole buck. He's not exactly built for speed, but he did so here at the obstacle pole with absolutely no regard for any of the equipment in his hands. And this annual International Lumberjack competition here in St. Stephen, New Brunswick wouldn't be possible without the great support of all the sponsors.
Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, only professional grade with 5-year warranty. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Dickies, quality workwear since 1922. Yamaha, rev your heart.
And they're off. 2 big men making it look fairly easy here right now. Not bad. Big guys making it look pretty good here. Great run by the competitors, Nathan and Matt.